I'm Richard.
And I'm Will.
And together we're
The Irreverent Nerds. Bum, bum, bum.
Hello, nerds.
Hello, nerds.
I'm your host, Richard Best, with my co-host, Will Boyer.
Boyer, it's French.
The Frenchman.
It's German, but I'll be French today.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch? Do you sprechen? Because I don't sprechen.
Sprechen the English.
Sprechen Sie English? I don't know what the German word for English is. Although English is descended from Germanic languages, I think. Well, there's like Indo-European, if I remember correctly, and then there's Germanic in there, and then there's like Anglo-Saxon. English is a melting pot language, like in a way that I don't know of too many other languages that are.
Nah.
So, hey guys, you got that fact for free. So welcome.
Next one, gotta pay.
That's right. No, just kidding. You don't have to pay, but speaking of paying, if you would like to support us, we would really appreciate that. I gave a shout out last week to our very first monthly supporter, Lars DeSenza. And for anyone else that would like to, you can do it as low as 99 cents a month. You can do $4.99 a month. You can even do $9.99 a month. Which if you did, we'd be pleasantly surprised and give you a big shout out and I thank you. And we'll have to come up with some kind of gift too, like some kind of merch or something. Like long term, we'd love to have some merch, like a t-shirt or a mug or something along those lines with our official logo, if and when we get that commissioned by an actual artist. I kind of did a temporary mock-up of our new logo, which includes both of our beautiful faces in it now. Speaking of which, that's podcasting news. We are now officially the Irreverent Nerds, plural. So no longer is it Irreverent Nerd. It's the Irreverent Nerds. And you'll see that change. Those of you who have been listening to us along the way, you've already noticed it, probably the new logo popping up on, Spotify, Google, Apple, wherever you listen to us. And the new name officially. I think the only place, the only place where I haven't changed it yet is our YouTube channel, but that tends to be the last thing I update. Just got so many other things going on. It's kind of the stepchild sitting over there in the corner, vying for my attention, and it gets it sometimes, enough to survive. But anyway, but yeah, so like I said, if you would love to support us, just go to our Anchor profile. It's anchor.fm/irreverent nerd. That hasn't changed yet. I haven't made that plural yet because I didn't want to mess anything up, to be honest. So it's anchor.fm/irreverent nerd. And you can support us monthly if you'd like to. You can also leave us a voice message, which we can include in next week's episode. Feel free to DM us on our Instagram, and our Instagram did change. Our handle, I just added an S to it. So it's @irreverent_nerds.
Wow.
So if you look up @irreverent_nerd, it'll probably still come up because I don't know of any other profile that has that name combination, but officially it is now @irreverent_nerds. And of course we have our Facebook fan page, The Irreverent Nerds, where you can check us out there and follow us, jump in on discussion on any of our posts. You can message us through there. And I'm set up now with, apparently Facebook has this new thing. I don't know how new it is. It's new to me anyway. It's called the Meta Business Suite. And you can see messages you can link Instagram and Facebook accounts. You can see messages from all of them in the same spot. So whether you DM us on Instagram or DM us on Facebook, if I'm checking our account through there, I can see it both ways. And yeah, give Will a follow too. He's on Facebook at Will Boyer. And Will, do you have links to your artwork and stuff up on your Facebook page?
I do. I have, if you want to go read my Super Milo comics, that's at www.milocomics.com. Thanks to Tom Gray for securing that website URL for us so many years ago. And I've got comics of Super Milo and my Gotham Man series on Indie Planet. I don't know if that's indieplanet.com or indieplanet.us, but it's Indie Planet. And I've got some of my work, one short story in Crackerjack Comics on Amazon. It's an anthology book with other writers and artists. And there's quite a few other websites on my Facebook, or if you just Google Cartoonist Will, or the names of one of my works, Gospel Man, Super Milo. I don't know if there's any hip hop written by Dan Johnson, illustrated by me up still yet, but hopefully we'll get that series out. Oh, that reminds me. Actually, the first chapter of that series will finally see print soon in a future Crackerjack comic. I'll tell you all about that when it officially releases, though.
So let me get this straight. It's called hip hop.
It's about a rabbit seeking to be a movie star in kind of a 1960s anthropomorphic Hollywood.
Okay. No, it just struck me kind of funny. It's hip hop written by two white men. No.
Yep, that's right. Actually, Dan is 1/8 Jewish.
Is he really? Okay.
Yeah, well, he is. But yeah. But you're right, though. I'm joking.
No. It's obviously it's not that white people can't enjoy hip hop, but yeah, there's some, honestly. You know what? I'm not gonna get into that. I do actually enjoy hip hop, and I enjoy rap as well, which I've talked about on here before, and jazz, honestly, because I really like good music, wherever it comes from, and there's something about the music that came out of all the pain and the heartache that Black people in America had to go through for so long, like with hundreds of years of slavery, and then the Jim Crow laws and segregation, and just all of the suffering that sadly, not necessarily all of our direct ancestors, but just broadly speaking, ancestors of those of us who are of Caucasian descent here in America, like, inflicted a lot of suffering, either directly or indirectly through a lack of action. And there's just some really beautiful and amazing music has come out of all that pain, and without wanting in any way to take away from those who created it and what they went through, in a sense, to come to the place, because so much beautiful art comes out of a place of pain. I think there's just something about that kind of hones us in as humans creatively, and I feel like you can't be a poet without having some pain in your life. It seems to be the case. But yeah, there's funk and soul music similarly, just it grabs me, man, like just the raw emotion and the exuberance of it in a lot of ways as well. It's just, yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. And yeah, so anyway, you got that one for free too.
That being said, Dan and I's comic hip hop has nothing to do with music. It's about a rabbit named Hip Hop, but yes.
yeah, no. No, I get it.
But I love all sorts of music. One of my Black coworkers taught me how to scat once.
Oh, really?
Yeah. A man in his man in his 60s.
Sorry guys, I got a bit of a cough hanging on. That made me laugh. I would have loved to hear that sometime. Will Boyer scatting.
I don't know. It's been a few years.
Oh man,
just making it up. That's pretty much what he told me. It's just, I don't know, random sounds. It's been a while since he taught me, and it's not like it was just on the job kind of conversation. So it's not like he trained me or anything.
Yeah. No, that's fun. Like, I think I have not researched this thoroughly, but I've heard somewhere that I think one could even make an argument that Black people invented rock and roll as well. That they may have been the originators of that style of music. obviously white people like Elvis Presley, took it and ran with it, Buddy Holly and the like. But yeah, I've heard an argument for that. Again, it's not something I've researched in depth, but I was like, oh man, yet another amazing style of music and art that has come out of that. And that's not to diminish the pain or in any way to try to justify what's been done. And something I know this podcast is for fun. Like we're here in a sense to give you a bit of a break from just the pain that is going on in the world, just to have fun with a couple of guys hanging out. But I don't want that to make anybody think that we are not aware of some of the heartache and pain that's going on, such as the shooting that happened in Buffalo a couple of weeks ago. Just terrible tragedy. I mean, obviously anytime there's a mass shooting, it's a horrible thing. But it's almost, it's worse in a way that it was motivated by hate and by just unfounded prejudice from this young man. It's just very sad. And I expressed it elsewhere, like in my social media accounts, but just, my heart went out to just the victims as well as their families and friends. We actually, that same day, here in Winston-Salem, where Will and I hail from, I don't know that it was racially motivated, but we did have 3 people were shot and killed that same day here in our city. So it's just
I didn't know.
Yeah, it happened over on kind of the east side of Winston. Yeah. And I actually heard about it through NPR rather than a local source first, like through npr.org on their news site. It's one of the ones I check throughout the week as I'm trying to follow what's going on in the world, the war with Ukraine, just all of that. And yeah, they mentioned what happened in Winston that day, and so yeah, it's sad. So
maybe I'm just not well connected, but I, to different news outlets, maybe I'm just not paying attention, but I think there might be a lot going on in our area of the world that we don't know about.
Yeah, I know. I could go on for a while. I mean, I've heard of. Sadly, our state is a place where sex trafficking is a pretty big issue. I mean, we have several major highways that pass through here, like I-40, I-95. We have international airports. We have a seaport. So we're, I think, last I heard, like number 8 in the country for that form of crime. And it's really sad. Like some of it happening in our own backyard here. Like High Point is particularly known for some of those issues. That's not to bash High Point as a city, but like there's some history there, which is just very sad and unfortunate. But as I said, this got really serious.
Yes.
Which is, again, although I do have to say, like my wife and I have been watching Ted Lasso. I think I talked about that. Was it last week or the week before? And it manages to walk that line of like, there's some very serious drama that's going on in Ted Lasso, and yet it's also hilarious. And it walks that line almost perfectly, which I guess is why it won like 7 Emmy Awards this past year. Like just like without some of that pain, like the humor almost isn't, it's like it means more, or I don't know quite how to put it. So yeah, like I think if all you ever do is have fun, you don't ever talk about anything, which is not, obviously what Will and I do in our day-to-day life. But yeah, the main purpose of this podcast is to have fun, just to kind of nerd out about stuff. So yeah, we're not gonna sit here week to week and just talk about all the horrible things that are happening in the world or have happened. That's not the purpose of this particular podcast. But just to acknowledge that there's some of that crap going on, and like we hear you, we see you, those that have suffered from that. So moving on. Well, I guess we haven't done this in a few weeks because we've had guests, but what's what's going on in your life, man? Like anything exciting, anything new?
Oh yeah. I got tons of stuff going on. Well, I was supposed to do some research for tonight's podcast, but honestly, it's been a very busy and sometimes stressful weekend for me. My wife and I took a family vacation with her side of the family, try to get away, get our mind off of things. Also, it's our 10th year anniversary, so that was nice. Mandy had a doctor's appointment last week and unexpectedly stayed out of work today, and we went back to the doctor. She's out of work now for the next month. We hadn't really talked about that over social media yet. She's not sure if she wants to, but she's so I'm not going to share all the details right now. She's just going through a lot right now with her health. So anybody who wants to keep her in your thoughts, prayers, good vibes, whatever, we really appreciate it. As for me, I'm doing all right. Are you going to get to the what we're watching, what we're reading thing, or should I go ahead and just say that now?
No, this part just like what's going on in your life, and then I mean, I guess we could kind of merge it all together. Like yeah, our main topic, we probably should have said that up front, but our main topic for this week is going to be Obi Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
We'll be diving in a bit to kind of our experience with Obi Wan as a character over the years in Star Wars, and then we'll talk some about his relationship with Anakin, how that developed, and what we expect for the upcoming Obi Wan Kenobi show on Disney Plus.
Which I've been very excited about.
Yeah,
very
me too,
excited.
Man.
Definitely one of my favorite characters from Star Wars.
Oh yeah, like honestly, like he in some ways rescues the prequels from oblivion.
Absolutely.
His character is my favorite part of the prequels.
Yes. Mine too, absolutely. Yeah, so I was supposed to catch up, refresh myself on Obi-Wan, but I just didn't have the time this weekend.
Yeah, it was
what's up in your life?
It was your anniversary, right?
Yeah, it was.
Is it 8 years of marriage now?
No, 10.
10. Dang, 10. Doesn't
we were gonna have some sort of renewal of our vow ceremony and stuff, but Mandy hadn't been feeling well. We called it off.
10 years. Well, congrats, man. I knew it had been a while. I didn't realize it was 10. The big 1-0. That's saying something, man.
That's okay. We both got busy with family life for a while there before we started talking and hanging out and doing this podcast again. Time flew by.
My wife and I, it's actually today technically is our anniversary. We're gonna be celebrating.
Happy anniversary.
We'll be celebrating this coming weekend just for various reasons. We had to wait until Friday to celebrate, but today is actually our official anniversary. So shout out. I don't know if you can hear her coughing in the background. Shout out to my wonderful wife, Laura. She's an amazing artist, mother of 4 beautiful girls, and just, oh man, like she's been with me through so much. We've been together for almost 11 years now. We dated for about roughly 4 years right before we got married, and obviously our 7-year wedding anniversary is today. So yeah, we've been through a lot. Like it's crazy to think, like I've been, oh man, yeah, been with her over a decade, and
congrats.
Yeah, man, thanks. Yeah. Well, cool. Well, yeah, that's kind of, I guess, part of what's going on in my life too, like anniversary and then I'm not going to say who or what yet, but there's a possibility I might get interviewed for someone else's podcast. Somebody reached out to me on Twitter. Right. It's like, hey man, we we seem to have a kindred spirits. We should talk. So we're going to do a preliminary conversation tomorrow just to see if there's kind of a synergy there, and if he thinks it'll work for his podcast. I think he's going to have me on just to talk about some of the work I've been doing, like with my Empathic Ecologist YouTube channel and
Cool.
The blog that I write, also called Empathic Ecologist. So yeah, like I'll, if that comes to pass for real, then I'll let you guys know about it next week, and I'll let you know where you can check out the episode. But that's kind of exciting. I've never had anybody ask me to come on their podcast before, so that's pretty
awesome.
Cool. Yeah,
it's really cool.
Yeah. So that's one new thing that's going on, and my oldest daughter is just about to finish up kindergarten, so her first year of schools is about done. It's hard to believe, like it's gone by very quickly. Yeah, just I've seen her grow a lot as a person, her communication skills have improved over this past year. Her social skills have improved. Like, I've just noticed her ability to make new friends, like when we go out to the park and stuff on the weekends, like it's just increased, when she's with her peers every day. Yeah, like it's just really cool to see her developing and be able to be a part of that, even if just in a small way of making sure she gets to school every day and picking her up and and all of that, like, and doing homework with her on occasion. I don't have a lot when you're in kindergarten, but she does get a little bit from time to time, which is kind of cool. I like, I don't always feel like it, and sometimes I'm just exhausted and I'm like, she's like, I don't want to do homework. I was like, me neither. But no, it's cool. It's a dad thing that it's a privilege to be able to help her with that part of her development as a human, and so yeah, it's just a few things going on in my life. So I guess let's see here.
And I forgot, I just finished co-coloring some pages for Dan Johnson and the rest of the team at Redline Comic Studio. We're shopping for a publisher, probably going to get that in an anthology sci-fi book with Antarctic Press, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll make an official announcement once that does get bought. So I just wanted to make that mention. I forgot that's going on.
Nice. Yeah, I think you guys might have talked about that. Was that the work that
yeah
you were showing him on our guys? If you see the video podcast, you'll catch a glimpse of that. I think it made it into the video podcast.
Oh, cool.
Actually, sorry guys. You know what? Now that I think about it, it might not have. That might have been in the kind of the prequel, if you will, conversation that we had earlier in the day. But anyway, yeah, it was I remember seeing some aliens in that artwork.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. Speaking of which, we should do an episode on aliens someday. I just thought about that earlier today. I was like, aliens. Are they out there?
Well, Mandy, and you got me since you told me that there was some free stuff on Prime I didn't know about. Mandy and I have started binging X-Files.
Oh, is it on Prime?
Oh yeah, it's on Prime. Where are you watching it?
That's where it went to.
Oh,
it was on Hulu because Hulu, I guess, is like. Man,
I thought you were binging it. I
didn't
even know it was on Hulu.
I don't know if binge is the right word. Laura and I watched it over like 5-6 years.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it's.
Well, we just do a couple episodes at a time or something like that.
Yeah, just like, we'd have some weeks where we watch it every night during a week, and then other weeks where we wouldn't watch it at all. It's just kind of at our own pace. And we've got. I think
that's what I'm saying. Old person binge.
Yeah, more or less. We watched like 2 seasons per year, more or less. So faster pace than when it came out, but not binging per se.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just don't have time for that nowadays. But
no.
not very often anyway.
How about we're focusing on X-Files right now?
Cool. That's cool, man. Yeah, I actually just picked up season 1 on Blu-ray.
Cool.
Last week. The McKay's had it for just $11, and I was like, oh man, I don't know if I can pass that up. So it's like the entire all 24 episodes of the first season on Blu-ray. And so I think if you get the full series, it's like $250 or something like that, because it's like 11 seasons long. So I don't know that I'll ever do that, but like the only full series I own is Star Trek: The Next Generation. That's it. Like never bought a full series of any other TV show up to this point. And I think I got that one on sale, but it was still a nice little chunk of change. Anyway, still there, man? Can you hear me, Will? William? Well, I lost Will. I'm going to pause this recording. Hey nerds, Richard here, taking a moment to talk to you about the podcast. If you have enjoyed one or all of our episodes, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and or follow us. We are on Spotify, Google, and Apple. If you're listening on Apple, please take a moment to leave us a review. It really does help. And let your friends know as well. Shout it from the rooftops. Come on, you know you want to. All right, and we're back. After these messages, we are right back.
Who likes bratwurst? I like bratwurst. Skinny kids love bratwurst. Kids look out, love bratwurst.
I don't remember that reference. I'm assuming it's from the 90s.
No.
Okay. Mine was from the 90s. It was do you remember in the 90s when they used to have like it was what was it? Felix the Cat would come on. I think it was on ABC, like in between commercials.
That really weird version of Felix the Cat with the magic bag.
I guess like it was like just this really short, like
I think that was
maybe
CBS, wasn't it?
Could be. Yeah, this is a little short 10-second segment, like a segue between the episode and the commercial. So it'd be like, I might be getting the audio mixed up with something else, but I just remember something in the 90s have been like, after these messages, we'll be right back. You know, that kind of thing.
Well, that could have been anything.
Yeah, I might be getting mixed up.
Had some stuff like that too.
I do remember, I think on some of my old VHSs where I recorded episodes of Garfield and Friends, the little Felix the Cat thing was on there. Like, it was like right before each commercial, epic. And then it would have just a really brief thing right after returning from each commercial.
I wonder what would happen if Felix the Cat and Garfield met.
I don't know. Perhaps they have in another universe.
Dun, dun,
dun. Speaking of universes, maybe someday we could have like a real, like, you know, science episode on the possibilities of the multiverse existing.
Blow my brain.
Just like, you know, speculative. Maybe we could get into string theory, you know, something wild like that.
I'll eat string cheese while we talk about it.
Yeah. No, but I do want to do that. Like, I thought of like maybe once a month we do, whether it's a segment or maybe an entire episode of like kind of like a more like where we nerd out about something sciencey, you know, like yeah, because
I like dinosaurs.
Hey, yeah, we could get into I'm sure there's an official title of it, paleontology. Yeah, we could get into paleontology. Obviously we're going to talk about dinosaurs when we go see Jurassic World, the final chapter or whatever together next month. So yeah.
Do you consider cryptozoology as a form of science?
I don't know if that counts as cryptozoology. That's like zombie zoology. No, it's like bring extinct creatures back to life.
No, I mean, we could talk about cryptozoology. I just don't know about string theory.
I don't either, to be honest with you. But
about the
I
Moth,
could,
Matt.
I could learn.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, let's get to our main topic. So Obi Wan. What my friend is your first memory of Obi Wan Kenobi?
Well, obviously, episode 4. I got into Star Wars in the 90s when they re-released the films in theaters. The the one where George Lucas decided to go back and add a bunch of new special effects and stuff. So I saw the original trilogy and then owned them on VHS before the prequels came out.
Oh yeah, like where he added was it a couple of CGI animals like walking behind you, like on the Tatooine.
He fixed Palpatine, so Palpatine was consistent with his appearance in the third film.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, he Palpatine appeared in a hologram, I think, in episode 1, I think. But yeah, a bunch of different stuff. I don't remember what they added. That scene where Han Solo steps on Jabba's tail.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't in the original.
Yeah, no, I do remember seeing that. I'm like, I mean, obviously they filmed the scene, but then like was the Jabba puppet not there? I did wonder about that. I was like, because he's obviously talking to Jabba, but it's like, did they deep fake it? Because it looked like they actually filmed it with Harrison Ford, but then obviously they added in CGI Jabba, and but maybe puppet Jabba was there. I mean, who knows?
Well, actually, at that stage, I mean, George Lucas didn't even know if he'd even get to make a second Star Wars or not. There was a lot he didn't know. He didn't know he was going to make Darth Vader the father of Luke and Leia. He didn't know Luke and Leia were siblings yet. That just wasn't in his scripts yet. He hadn't decided or planned that yet. So actually, I don't know why that scene was cut from the original Star Wars film. When it was just called plain Star Wars, there was no episode number or subtitle. But what I do know is that at that point, Jabba the Hutt was just a dude. He wasn't a big slug thing. He was just a human. So anyway, so there was no puppet yet because that hadn't been decided.
I see. So he might have actually been interacting with an actor.
Yes.
Potentially, and they just CGI'd the actor out.
And there's one thing I hate about that scene, though.
Mm-hmm.
Have you noticed how Harrison Ford, when he steps on Jabba's tail, Harrison Ford looks real weird when he does that.
I'd have to go back and watch it again, but yeah, it did seem a little, how your eye just recognizes the uncanniness, like when it doesn't quite.
Yeah. Obviously the actor didn't really bounce up in the air to step on Jabba's tail because there was nothing to step on in the original.
Right.
Yeah, that was just real weird.
Yeah, so episode 4 was your first experience with Obi Wan Kenobi. Did he seem like wise and ancient?
Yeah, I really liked the character, although I have to admit, that was like Alec Guinness, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, Alec Guinness.
But I think that I didn't truly fall in love with that character until Ewan McGregor played him. But I did like Obi Wan Kenobi in the original, though.
I probably have to agree with you. Yeah, I think Ewan McGregor like took the best parts of Guinness's performance, if you will, and just added his own flair to it, as only Ewan McGregor can. And the dude's just so charming. It's like, I mean, what is it about actors from Scotland? It's like you have Ewan McGregor, you have my wife was just watching X-Men Days of Future Past yesterday, and you have oh dang it, I can't think of his name right now. The guy who plays Charles Xavier.
Patrick Stewart.
No,
you mean the younger guy?
The young Charles Xavier.
I don't know. Deadpool's still confused. I don't remember. I wish I could remember that exact quote. Then I'd know the other actor's name, but I don't. I can Google it.
I cannot think of it right now. That's what happens when you're tired. But anyway, but he's from Scotland as well, I believe. And of course, you have Gerard Butler.
James McAvoy.
James McAvoy. That's right. There we go. Yeah, he's really good. If you haven't seen his performance in Split, it's worth watching. Split. I mean, it's pretty good on its own merit, but really, you're watching it for his performance in a lot of ways. Like, he plays like 6 or 7 different characters in that movie.
I saw Glass. Honestly, I didn't even realize that was James McAvoy until you told me just now.
Yeah. Well, we're getting off topic again. as we do. So I had a note here. So I rewatched. So here's a bit of history for you and I in regards to Obi Wan and just Star Wars in general. Apologies again, guys, for the coughing. Like, I've had this cough that's been hanging around for 2 weeks and it's just acting out tonight. But Will and I, this was either the first or the second movie we went to see together. I can't remember if this came out before or after Batman Begins, but that same summer we went to see Batman Begins together, and then we went to see Star Wars Episode 3 together, summer of 2005. And obviously, and that for me was the first Star Wars movie I saw in theaters. For me, growing up, as I've said before, I didn't go to theaters, although I wasn't, except for, actually, honestly, I don't know. I think I might have been able to go to Return of the Jedi while I was still in the womb, or perhaps a newborn, because I was born in '83. But I don't know exactly when it released that year. So, but somewhere in there, I could have. I could have gone.
If I cough, no one will notice. We're all coughing.
Oh man. But anyway, yeah. So that for me, that was my first experience seeing Star Wars on the big screen, and even though some of the dialogue is clunky because George Lucas decided to not hire a screenwriter this time around.
Really?
Not that yeah, like the prequels, he decided not only to write the story himself, but also to write the dialogue himself. So it's a little clunky. But
right. But we were talking about Return of the Jedi, right? So did it start with episode?
Oh no. Episode 3. Sorry, I transitioned back to episode 3. My apologies. But you and I went to see that together, so we got to see the epic battle between Obi-Wan and Anakin up there on Mustafar, and like that was pretty cool seeing that in theaters. Like, dialogue aside, you just get Star Wars, you get caught up in the story, and it's just like you're excited just to be back in the Star Wars universe again. Even with the problems that the prequel movies had, like, it's still Star Wars. So.
I know. Which prequel movie was your favorite?
I'd say it was probably that one. It's probably episode 3. Yeah. I think, like, of the 3 of them, was probably the most engaging. Although I did really like the Obi-Wan storyline in episode 2, where he goes to the planet where they're making the clones, and he has the fight with Jango Fett. That was pretty cool. And just where he's kind of playing detective through a good portion of episode 2. I liked that. Like, and even the fight.
I did too.
Like him and Anakin, their fight with Dooku and his interrogation by Dooku. Yeah, I thought he was definitely the highlight of episode 2. So I enjoyed a lot of episode 2, but I think as a whole, probably episode 3 was my favorite of the first 3.
Cool.
I think it's fair to say. It also had the least amount of Jar Jar Binks in it.
That's a plus right there.
Yeah, like the only point at which he appears is in the at the very end at Padme's funeral. He's in the procession. He like wipes away a tear, and but he doesn't say anything.
Yeah,
but
I don't.
But Ahmad Best still got credit in the. He still got billing in the end credits, even though he didn't say anything in the movie.
he made a sniffle noise and got in.
Yeah. Ahmad Best made, and actually he might have been there on the set. Now that I think about it, because I think he was wearing like a, like a gray man suit with a prosthetic Jar Jar head or something. just to give the other actors a point of reference. And so I think he did actually. That had to have been surreal.
Yeah.
Being like in episode 1, being there like Obi Wan and Qui-Gon, talking to this dude in a gray suit with a fake Jar Jar head wearing it as a hat. Like I've seen a picture of it. Like it was, yeah, he's basically like wearing it as a hat. It's like a hat.
That's hilarious. So it's
like,
is that why he's so tall?
Yeah, it's like it's like a head on top of the actor's head. That had been a little surreal, like trying to act with, like you're here standing next to the actor, and he doesn't look like his Jar Jar voice sounds. Obviously, he's like, "Me, I don't think so." Probably was about as weird as Gollum in Lord of the Rings, like because
I was thinking Gollum. I really was.
Yeah, because he was like there on set.
Yeah,
acting it all out. In a weird rubber suit.
Yeah, well, I imagine the Jar Jar one was a lot weirder to act with. But yeah,
probably. But anyway, so like maybe we could talk some about the evolution of Obi-Wan just as a character. Starting back from his little mini ponytail days. I know there's a name for that. What do they call that thing the Jedis wear?
Well, I believe it's based on the top knot of the samurai in feudal Japan. As George Lucas was inspired by the Akira Kurosawa films. But I am not 100% sure what they call it in the Star Wars universe.
Not that it's that important, but I know there's a name for it. But like the little Jedi tail or whatever, like he has it in episode 1, and then Anakin has it in episode 2. And then,
but only the Padawans have them, right? Or
I think so. Yeah, when you're still technically a Padawan, you're not a master yet. Although Anakin's not a master in the third film, but he's gotten rid of it. So I guess he's advanced enough that he's not necessarily a Padawan per se, but but not a master either. So, but yeah, you have like Obi-Wan like defeats Darth Maul in the. He's pretty badass. Like he defeats Darth Maul in the first film.
Oh yeah.
And he like takes on Jango Fett in a spaceship, or at least with his Mandalorian outfit, like his armor and stuff, like takes him on. And then in the third movie, obviously, has begrudgingly has to defeat Anakin. But yeah, he's pretty powerful. Although he didn't do much against Dooku in the opening scene. Like he just gets thrown to the side, and then Dooku like pulls a whole platform down on him, which somehow didn't break his legs. Like I saw that, like it looked so fake, like the CGI part of it is like, how did that not break his legs? Like Anakin just comes over and like pulls it up, and then Obi-Wan just like once he wakes up, he's fine. I was like, how did that not break his legs? Anyway, side note.
No, movie magic.
I guess. It looked like it would have broken his legs.
So I looked up the Padawan top knot, and it's simply called a Padawan braid. That's all the information I can get. It's like there's no neat name for it. It's just a braid.
That works. Yeah, whatever. So what's your favorite phrase that Obi-Wan says?
That's no moon. I said that Friday night.
Did you?
Yeah. Definitely a popular pop culture quote. My wife Mandy and I were on our drive out of town vacation late after I got off work Friday night. And I was tired and not too tired to drive, but a little tired after work and stuff. And we started driving up to this bright yellow oval. And I was like, open my mouth, and I stopped, and I was like, for a second there, I thought that Bodingle sign was a moon, but that's no moon. Sorry, I don't know. Very nerdy. But I love how we can just pop culture phrases and quotes into our everyday lives to annoy people. So,
sorry, I had to mute myself for a minute there, or I thought I muted myself. You guys are gonna hear baby noises now. Some holding my youngest. So that's not me making weird noises.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, I didn't know you were muted for a second there. I was trying to, or would have said more to fill the space.
So here's a question. I've seen memes about this, but it's on a more serious level. Should Obi-Wan have trained Anakin?
Should Anakin have been trained at all?
Yeah, that's another question. It's like, because he did ultimately bring balance to the Force, but he caused a heck of a lot of pain and death and suffering in the interim. It's like, would it have been better if they had just sent him back home?
And I don't really understand that whole prophecy about balance in the Force. Maybe that's mostly from the Legends material, because I feel like it's not very fleshed out in the actual prequels.
That's a fair point. Like even in Return of the Jedi, where he kills the Emperor, but not really, apparently.
Not really.
It's like, how did that bring balance to the Force when it defeated both of the Sith? So therefore, wouldn't the Force not be imbalanced?
Well, a lot of fans talk about that. They debate that. What does it mean? I mean, when I was a kid, I thought bring balance to the Force. I became a Christian in my mid-teens. I'm not really sure what I thought balance was before then, but my memory, I don't know what age I was, but my memory of balance, and I'm sure I started watching Star Wars before I became a Christian, but what I'm trying to say is my American Christian or otherwise brain interpret that as some sort of good thing where they got rid of the Sith, because in my mind, like, evil and darkness brings imbalance. But these films were based on Far Eastern religions and ideology, I think. So wouldn't that be more yin yang, balancing the forces? You can't have light without dark.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, I mean, in some sense, like, yeah, it's just like, how did he specifically bring balance? Because like, you have the broader concept of balance.
Picking up some static. Light. Is that me or you? It's gone now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. But yeah, the broader concept of like the light and the dark, that both are in a sense natural, like they're both naturally a part of the Force, and yet on the ground in the films, like, you still have villains and heroes. You still have the Jungian archetype of the young hero in Luke, and so it's almost like it doesn't quite stay true to any one idea in there. It's like a synthesis in a sense of several ideas, and obviously, Lucas wasn't specifically trying to promote Buddhism or specifically trying to promote Taoism or Hindu or what have you. He borrowed from a number of different mythological and entertainment traditions. Just borrowed inspiration, as really, I mean, anyone who creates anything, in a sense, that's what we're all doing. We're borrowing from what has come before, even as we add to it, in our own unique way. But yeah, getting back to Obi-Wan himself, and I was thinking some about the relationship between him and Anakin.
Yeah.
And so obviously, he does, out of loyalty, primarily, I think out of loyalty, it seems, to Qui-Gon and Qui-Gon's, I don't know if prophecy is the right word, but like Qui-Gon's recognition of Anakin's specialness, I guess. Like obviously with the high midichlorian count and all of that, like he recognizes the potential there, and so Obi-Wan carries on that in honor of his master Qui-Gon. So like, but they kind of become like especially you see it especially I think in the beginning of episode 3, and you see it some in episode 2 as well. They kind of become more like a older brother younger brother relationship almost.
Yeah. I love that part.
Yeah, even though he calls him my young Padawan sometimes, more so in episode 2. Like he does, they do kind of become brothers, you know, a lot of ways, which I guess is what makes the ending so tragic of episode 3.
Yeah. You know, I'm really looking forward to the new Disney Plus series, because after they laid the groundwork for the prequels, I mean, George Lucas, when he wrote the original Star Wars, he didn't know Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker were the same person. He hadn't decided that yet. But with the prequels, for some time now, having been put into the canon, you would expect a lot more from their meeting in episode 4. So
yeah, and that's where, I mean, obviously, you know, you can try to retrofit, but yeah, like you do see him echo it. I think Obi-Wan refers to Anakin as old friend when the last time they see each other, when they're still friends. And then obviously in episode, that was a call out to episode 4 where I think it's Obi-Wan that says it. It's like hello, old friend. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, actually, now that I think about it, they do have some exchange there. But I've read and heard that supposedly George Lucas didn't know that was Anakin yet. But yeah, you're right. You know, I am the master now. You know, stuff like that. That was in that scene.
Yeah, and I haven't watched episode 4 in a bit, but yeah, I remember what you're talking about. Like, and another interesting, and this is something I wanted to bring up about. I wonder if they're going to explore this in the series. At the end of episode 3, Obi-Wan sits down with Yoda, and I think they're there on the Andorian cruiser, I think, and Yoda tells him that Qui-Gon has found a way to, I think, to gain immortality through the Force, and Yoda says, "I will teach you how to commune with him."
Yeah.
So I wonder if they're going to explore that some in the series, like him interacting with Qui-Gon. I haven't heard whether
I hope so.
Liam Neeson is going to be in it or not, but that would be kind of cool.
That would be cool
if he has some conversations with Qui-Gon.
I was actually just reading up about that. I have not seen all of the Clone Wars cartoon or Rebels. I'm like maybe 2 seasons into Clone Wars, but yeah. Qui-Gon discovered some sort of way to come back as a Force ghost before he died. Maybe he didn't truly master it, but he was reaching out to Yoda during the Clone Wars, and so I forgot that was actually in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, I had forgotten that. I'd forgotten that as well, and having not watched Rebels, like I wonder if they do explore it some in Rebels, because I think Obi-Wan is in Rebels. I'm not sure how much, because I have not watched the series.
I don't know, at least one episode. I'm not
sure. Like those of you who are more hardcore Star Wars nerds than Will and I, who have watched every episode as it's come out, feel free to jump in and share your voice messages. And your thoughts about the upcoming series, what you think it'll be like, what you think they'll cover. The first 2 episodes drop on Friday. And then after that, it'll be just 1 episode a week up until, I think I just saw the release schedule today, I think up until June 22nd. So there's going to be 6 episodes total from what I've heard. So yeah, it's just really cool. It's like I love this mini series format that Disney's doing with both Marvel and Star Wars. Like, it's just like you almost get a movie, like every week or basically every 2 weeks is a full movie, and you get like three or four of them. It's just, yeah, it's really cool. The production level is always good. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they're gonna do with it. Let's see.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to more Star Wars. Been burnt out on the superheroes.
Yeah, it's nice to mix it up a
Yeah.
bit. Yeah, because that does get old eventually, especially if you, which I guess is why Marvel's trying to go off in different directions. Because
Yeah.
I did enjoy Moon Knight. It's very, even though he's still sort of a superhero, it's a very different tone, and he's a very different type of hero in a sense, like almost an anti-hero. Well, not quite, I suppose, but but yeah, I was just thinking back on Obi Wan, like some of the aspects of his personality that I enjoy. Like, obviously, there's the classic, like, "Hello there," like, and I think he says it like when he's going after the General Grievous in Episode 3, and he just like drops down into the middle of a bunch of droids right in front of Grievous. I think he says it there. He's like, "Hello there." He's just got that kind of coy smile, and even when he finally gets to engage with Grievous, like, he does the Obi Wan pose with his lightsaber, where the two fingers pointed at his opponent, and he just has a smile on his face. He's like, "I'm going to enjoy this." It's like he seems to, not necessarily. I'm not saying like he enjoys killing people so much as he sorry there. Seems to enjoy the sport of it, I guess, or the contest, which maybe he's not supposed to. Maybe that's like a form of attachment. Obi Wan. What do you think of that, by the way? The idea of non-attachment, as you see it in like the Jedi.
Well, funny you would say that, because while you're talking, I'm trying to listen, but I'm also been reading some cheat sheets on Obi-Wan, since I didn't have time to catch up. I'm reading StarWars.com news, /news/ Obi Wan Kenobi, everything you need to know, and I'm reading some stuff on CBR, some secrets about Obi Wan Kenobi, dark secrets, which CBR is not always, they're not really that dark. CBR is not always accurate in their information. So, but I didn't read or see much of this, so I can't say whether or not this stuff about Obi-Wan is correct or not. Anyway, we're talking about non-attachment. That's obviously something I knew about before reading these cheat sheet websites, as I call them. But I was just reading up about that. Now you informed me about this. Do you want to, because Anakin, we know from the movies, he became attached to shoot, dang it, Leia and Luke's mom. What's her name?
That's a new Star Wars character. Shoot, dang it.
Shoot, dang it. Yeah, Padme. Anakin falls in love with Padme. So,
yeah, Obi-Wan. I don't know if that's where you're going with this, but he had an almost fling.
Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted to tell him about it, because I didn't know what you knew. Yeah.
Well, I just found out. I think I had heard. I know, like, I don't know if they'll explore this in this series. Like, there is a book in the expanded universe called Kenobi. Now, I've not read it, but I have listened to a podcast. Shout out to the Star Wars. Sorry, my daughter's making noises. They're cute noises, though.
Cute noises,
I guess. Lost my train of thought. It
I
has
don't know.
derailed.
I don't know how to pronounce her name, but at the time she was the Duchess of Mandalore.
Yeah, that's I just watched so I looked it up on GameRant.com. They had a list of episodes that you should watch before watching Kenobi, and one of them was the Mandalore plot from season 2 of Clone Wars.
I haven't finished season 2 then yet. Okay, I'm on season 2, but I haven't gotten there yet. So I know I haven't seen this episode.
Well, I jumped ahead, like I jumped to that episode.
Yeah,
and and it does deal with like his. And I think the follow-up episode, like the following episode, does as well, which I haven't finished that one yet, but I did watch the full Mandalore plot. And you find out that he had an attachment to, the Queen of Mandalore, Satine, I think her name is.
Yeah, Kreese. Can you still hear me?
Yeah. But
okay.
But yeah, so that's cool. So I don't know if they'll explore any of those themes at all. But I know in the book, which I believe does take place in a similar time period to the series that's coming up, I think he does also have. I don't know if he has an official relationship, but he does have some degree of attachment with someone there on Tatooine.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well,
if I'm not mistaken, but that's in the expanded universe, so it's not necessarily canon.
Well, they could always draw on it, but change it around a bit. Now this Kreese character, Kreese, what's her name? How do you pronounce her name?
I don't know. Satine was the queen from the Mandalore plot, but I'm not sure who Kreese is.
Oh, that's her last name, Satine Kreese.
Oh, I see.
Now she appeared. That character, actually played by the same voice actress from the Clone Wars, appeared in The Mandalorian.
Okay.
So that's that character. She's trying to get the dark saber. Do you remember that?
Oh, is she the one that was down there in the heading? She was like the head of his.
No. She's the Mandalores that take off their helmets and startled.
Oh, so she's the one, like the Katie Sackhoff, the actress from Battlestar Galactica. Is that her character?
So.
I'm gonna go back and watch that now.
Yeah, so that's the character that Obi Wan had a brief fling with of attachment. Now you asked me what I think about attachment. I mean, I don't fully know what to say about that other than it's weird. The Jedis aren't the only religion based around the Force. I guess you could say the Sith is another religion based around the Force.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yeah, in a sense.
And the Knights of Ren is another religion based around the Force or order or whatever. Maybe they're more like Templars than religions. I don't know, but some sort of warrior.
Yeah. Which side note, their fight with Kylo was lame.
Yes, I know.
They weren't very formidable.
I have some complaints about the sequel trilogies, but we'll say that for another time.
Yeah, we'll talk about that another time.
Yeah, but what am I getting at? What I'm trying to say is that
you didn't love the blue milk, Will?
No, I was fine with the blue milk. I had issues with other things. But one of my favorite memes is him milking him some blue milk. Oh my gosh. But shoot, dang, I've lost my train of thought. Okay, the attachment thing was a part of the Jedi religion, and I'm not sure if it was especially beneficial for the Jedi. And someone pointed it out. I don't know if I read it on social media years ago or where I saw it, but someone pointed it out to me that the Jedi were allowed to have sex. They just weren't allowed to form. It's weird. Form of emotional attachment.
We're down to about 1 minute here.
Okay.
On our Zoom.
But I don't know. It's confusing. I'm not sure how to feel about their attachment. We'll move on. Or lack of attachment, I should say. My basic thought is it's unavoidable when you're comrades in the Jedi Order, and also, the Clone Wars cartoon does tackle that whole attachment to fellow Jedi, but I don't know that it's beneficial. That's what I'm saying. I thought Luke was more balanced, but the new book of Boba Fett put that on its head and showed a Luke that was more traditional, like the prequels. That was confusing to me. But yeah, that's it. That's my thought.
Yeah, I guess I'll finish with a Yoda quote here. He says to Anakin, I think, he's like, "The fear of loss is a path to the dark side. Death is a natural part of life. Rejoice for those who have been absorbed into the Force. Mourn them do not." Personal log, December 25th, 2023. International Space Station, somewhere over Europe. We did it. We finally did it. I didn't believe... No, I didn't want to believe we would do it. But we did. I was just trying to get a glimpse of Paris at night. It can be so beautiful at night. My wife and I spent our 10th anniversary there. We were supposed to go back this spring for our 15th. Oh, God. I hope she's okay. She has to be okay. I saw the first cloud erupt over Finland. At least, I think it was Finland. Oh, God. The flash was so bright, I had to turn away from the viewport, shield my eyes. I've never seen one live. I had hoped I never would. But that wasn't the first. When I looked again, I saw another cloud forming over what looked to be the Black Sea, then New York, Moscow, London, Tiumen, Los Angeles. It kept going. What have we done? What have we done? Christmas in Space was written and performed by Richard Best. Music courtesy of rfsoundtracks.com.
Hello, this is Cartoonist Will, and welcome to another Japan Jaunt. Now, on today's Japan Jaunt, I finally have a proper microphone hooked up to my computer, so hoping for a lot better sound quality. Now, on one of our previous podcast episodes, Richard, Zach, and I talked about Dragon Ball Z by Akira Toriyama. Now, I just wanted to take a moment to talk a little bit more about Akira Toriyama and his other works, or in our time limit, just his other works really, but so what Dragon Ball Z meant to me is that it helped influence my art style in the late 90s or mid to late 90s whenever it came on TV. I don't know if that is evident looking at my Super Milo comic strips or anything, but so I just really love Akira Toriyama's art style, and just talking to Zach the other day made me think, and looking up Akira Toriyama, because unlike one of my other heroes, Stan Sakai, I've never actually, or Bill Watterson, I've never actually looked into the life of Akira Toriyama or the other works he's done. So that caused me, to think I'd like to start collecting some of the manga he's drawn, especially Dragon Ball series. But so today I'd like to talk about one of his works that I already knew about, that I've owned for a long time now, over a decade. I really can't remember how long I've had it, but Sandland. Now, Sandland is about a... it takes place in kind of a post-apocalyptic world where the world's been turned to sand and water is in short demand. It's controlled by a greedy king. Now, in the Dragon Ball Z and the Majin Buu story arc, I believe we saw some sort of satanic character. I forget his name. I think it was it Beelzebub? So this might actually be in the continuity of Dragon Ball Z. I'm not really sure, but we have that same character. Well, this series follows the son of this Satan character, and it's been a while since I've read it, but I really love this book. It stars a human in a supporting role called Sheriff Rao. He asks the king of demons for help, and the king's son... Okay, so the son is Beelzebub, and that's our main true hero. Plus another demon character, Thief, who looks kind of like a garden gnome or something. This is our three heroes. They go out in search of water and whatnot. Don't want to spoil it, but it's a great Akira Toriyama story. I love the artwork. And you can collect the entire series in just one manga, just one paperback book. Now, as it turns out, Akira Toriyama didn't actually do a whole lot of things other than Dr. Slump and Dragon Ball. And when I say Dragon Ball, you know, I'm including Z and just everything included in that. Not necessarily GT. He is writing Super, but not drawing Super. Mostly Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. But it is his creation. I'm not sure exactly how much he helped on GT, but I feel like it wasn't a whole lot, maybe. Anyway, but I'll save talking about that for a future thing. Another thing that Akira Toriyama did that I love even more than Sandland is not a manga, it's a video game. It's Chrono Trigger. He did the art design for the characters and I think the world for Chrono Trigger, and it's really beautiful. It's really great. I love this game. I love the story writing. I don't know who wrote the story, but this is just about Akira Toriyama, today's Japan jaunt. But it is a terrific game on the Super Nintendo, Chrono Trigger. It was re-released on the PlayStation with anime cutscenes. It was on the DS. I think the DS version had the anime cutscenes as well, and it had a lot of extra content actually on the DS, and now it's on the Steam store. I think the Steam store, I don't own that version, and there's an Android app version as well. I don't own that either, so I can't say that the anime cutscenes are in those. I can't say that the extra dungeons and other extra items and content are in those. But I just love Chrono Trigger. Too bad it's not a manga that I'm aware of, but I just really love it. I really recommend Chrono Trigger. Anyway, of course, there's one giant work that made Akira Toriyama famous and a millionaire before Dragon Ball, and that would be Dr. Slump. Now, I'm embarrassed to say that I don't know a lot about Dr. Slump. It stars a little girl robot, I think Ariel. I mean, she stole the show, but originally it was about the Doctor. I think is the Doctor her father or her big brother? I forget. But anyway, so Dr. Slump and I think Ariel is her name, guest star. They actually guest star in Dragon Ball, the original series, and I think they make an appearance. I've heard they make an appearance in Dragon Ball Super, but I haven't checked it out because I'm only now watching through season 1 of Dragon Ball Super, the anime. Uh, I look forward to that, but seeing those characters again, but just the whole series. Anyway, so Akira Toriyama, he dropped out of college. No, he didn't drop out of college. He didn't go to college. I think after high school, he was struggling with work. He was out of work. He didn't know what to do. Kind of down of sorts, I guess. And so he saw this contest to make a manga, a comic book. And he kept entering it until eventually he won the contest. I think it was maybe his third attempt. And it, so he had a couple of published works after that. Wonder Island, I believe, 1 and 2. And eventually he created Dr. Slump, and it was a huge hit. It got picked up for a whole series. And yeah, he became a millionaire, according to what I've heard and read. So I'm glad to get to know more about Akira Toriyama, and I've realized that as I'm getting older, that his artwork is not just, really awesome and something that I want to emulate, but I'm realizing that, he may be one of those comic book artistic greats, that I need to pay more attention to his work. Now, as an American cartoonist, I don't really want my panels and stuff to look like Japanese manga, but my panel layouts, but then again, maybe that's not such a bad thing. It's just I grew up reading comic strips, so I think that I'm thinking more in lines with panel layouts when it comes to comic strips and stuff than how some manga artists do it, but I'm just rambling. There's nothing wrong with manga panel layouts. I guess, there's just not in Akira Toriyama's work, I don't think, but in some mangas, there's some stuff that I'm not used to, but I could really learn a lot from it. Anyway, we have once again surpassed our Japan jaunt. But I just really love Akira Toriyama's art style, and I hope you check out Sandland, and let's check out Dr. Slump together. And anyway, past that, Akira Toriyama's done a lot of one-shots that didn't really go anywhere. He did have, here recently, he had this, alien interdimensional police officer character, and I forget the character's name, but that character, he did, I think, 11 chapters with that character, and he's quoted as saying that that's actually his favorite work he's ever done. Anyway, that character did make it into Dragon Ball Super, and that's really exciting. Akira Toriyama is really good about stringing all these creations of his into one canon, apparently. I mean, maybe it's a loose canon, but it is. Dr. Slump, the world of Dr. Slump actually takes place in the same world as Dragon Ball, and the Dr. Slump characters even had a crossover with his original 2 Wonder Island stories. So all that is in the same continuity. In Sandland, because we see the King of Demons in here, that satanic-looking character in the Majin Buu saga. Since he's in here and is the Beelzebub main character's father, I mean, Sandland might actually be in the Dragon Ball universe as well. In the far future somewhere. Anyway, so just really love Akira Toriyama's art style. He's quoted as saying that one of his favorite artists that he grew from. I mean, he really was a big fan of Disney. I mean, we all were, weren't we? Disney art and movies. But then he found Osamu Tezuka, and there's a guy I need to get to know his artwork more, because definitely a big fan of Akira Toriyama's art style. I do have one of Osamu Tezuka's manga books, Astro Boy. I do love some of the art in there, definitely. Anyway, so thank you for joining us on Japan Jaunt, and sorry I just keep getting carried away, but we'll see you next time. Y'all take care. Sayonara.
My nerds, thank you so much for joining Will and I for this week's episode of the Irreverent Nerds podcast. Our Instagram handle has changed just a tad. We are at irreverent_nerds, plural. That's at irreverent_nerds. Facebook fan page is the same. It's called The Irreverent Nerds. So check us out on either of those platforms. We're also on YouTube, just simply called Irreverent Nerd. And if you'd like to leave us a voice message to be included in a future episode, go to anchor.fm/irreverent nerd, and there'll be a button there you can press and record a message for us. And as I said, we'll include it in a future episode. Also, on that same page, you can choose to sponsor us if you'd like. For either 99 cents a month, $4.99 a month, or even $9.99 a month. If you do that, you'll be a saint. Anyway, check us out. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful week and you'll be hearing from us next time.